Hello, welcome to Geeked Up Board Games. My name's Carl and today I want to teach you to play one of my favourite games, Everdell. Now the thing to bear in mind about Everdell, the game is beautiful. I mean, just look at that board. There's a giant tree in the centre of the board and its main purpose is to look pretty. It does have a slight gameplay function, but mainly it's there to look pretty. Now to play the game, you're going to be using a lot of cards. To start with, you want to deal 8 cards into this meadow area at the centre of the board, which is a shared area anyone can buy cards from. But you also want to deal each player their own unique hand of cards that only they can buy from. To take a turn is so easy. You take one action. Now this action here is to place a worker on the board to gain resources. And you'll notice around the edge of the board, in the forests, there are different locations. Those are randomly shuffled in each game, but they are more powerful and give you better access to resources when they're available. Once you've got the resources, well, you can use a turn to trade those resources in to buy cards. You can buy from the meadow or from your own unique hand. But once you've bought the card, you gain the points on that card, as well as any abilities the card has. So this card, for instance, will enable you to buy another card up to 3 points in value for free. Now your hand of cards, the cards you haven't bought, you can only have 8 maximum. But don't worry, you can discard them. You have this area at the board in the meadow where you place a worker and discard any number of cards, gaining a resource for every 2 cards you discard. Now keep an eye on the cards you buy because they do interact. So for instance, the construction cards, the buildings, will enable you to gain a worker for that building absolutely free. You simply look to see if that worker is available, and if they are, on your turn buy the card. You can have a maximum of 15 cards in your city, but some cards will behave differently. So the husband and wife, for instance, they live together, they only take up 1 slot. You'll also want to keep an eye on these events that happen in the background, because if you have the requirements for the event by having the right number of the right type of card, well, you place a worker on the event and take that event into your city. That gets you the points listed on it. And on the tree, there are 4 special event tiles. Again, there are requirements to gain that. And if you have the cards required, you place a worker on the special event and you take the special event to your city to gain the points. But the special events will also have special abilities which will enable you to build more points later on in the game. Now, once all of that is done and you cannot take an action anymore, you end your season. You simply take your workers back, gain an additional worker and activate the end of season bonus. So here you activate any green cards in your city, like this one, which will give you resources. At the end of the second season, you do the same. You gain 1 more worker and gain 2 cards for your hand if you can draw them. And the third season, well, you gain 2 workers and access to a journey where you discard cards for 1 point each card.